Hello students, let's take a look at some digital cameras. This is a digital camera. It's what they call kind of a point and shoot, okay? It's made by Samsung. We want to look at some of the basic components of this camera. So to turn it on, you press this button right here and the lens pops out, okay? And this camera has some controls on the top that are pretty standard as far as digital cameras goes. There's the power button. You can change it to manual, automatic, and that's how you take a picture. Has an LCD screen right here, and here's how you can change some of the settings on the camera. Now, one of the disadvantages of this camera, it does not have a viewfinder, so when you're outside, a lot of times you can't really see the screen very good on a bright sunny day. Let's take a look and see where the battery and stuff is. This just pops open right here. Now it's AA batteries, okay? Advantages and disadvantages. They don't last as long, but you can get them at any drugstore. And it takes what's called an SD card that fits right in there. There's a variety of cards that you can get to fit these cameras. Okay? That's this little Samsung. And pretty basic camera. Alright? Let's take a look at another Samsung. This one right here. This one's a little bit different. It's a newer model. It's pretty similar to the other one. It has a power button. All cameras have the same thing. They have a lens, a shutter, and they have an aperture in which to judge to which to control the light. The controls are very similar to the other one. Power button is on the top. Some of the settings are mostly on the back where you can control it right here. Let's take a look at this one. This one's a little different in that the battery has to be charged either in the camera or has a separate battery charger. Advantage to that is it lasts longer. Disadvantage is you have to have a spare battery. This one also takes an SD card that fits right in there. Okay, so that is this Samsung camera. Controls are right there and pretty easy to use. To plug it in, you can plug it in right there to your computer in order which to download your files. That's pretty common on most of these point and shoot type digital cameras. And it's a pretty good little camera. It also shoots video. Let's take a look at another one. This one I like quite a bit. This one's a Canon. Now, the advantage to this camera is it has a viewfinder right here. So you can look through, and on a bright sunny day, you can still see and compose your images. So that's an advantage to this one. Power button's right here. The lens also pops out. Once again, all cameras will have a lens, an aperture, a shutter. Okay. Controls are on the top. There's a little bit more controls with this one. This one's a little bit higher end camera. Okay, let's take a look and see where this one has its batteries, etc. This one, it just pops open. Okay, there's your SD card right there. Comes out. Okay, it's 2 gig. And it has AA batteries as well. It just depends on how you shoot and what you like. I kind of like sometimes AA batteries because if I'm at the drugstore, I can always get another set of batteries. Okay, now let's take a look at this other camera right here. This one is a Nikon. It's a point and shoot camera. I put a sticker on it so that when I go through hotel or airport security, it's easily identifiable as my camera. Okay, and that's why I put the sticker on it. The on-off button is right here. That lens pokes out of the top as well, or comes out of the camera. And you can compose or point right there to focus. You usually press part way down to focus. Has an LCD screen. And this camera also can shoot video like the other cameras as well. Okay, let's take a look and see what kind of battery this one has. This one, you just pop it open. Oh, turned it on again with my little power button. I like to turn it off. This slides open, and this one, oh, I keep turning it on. I like to have it off when I take the battery out. This one, you have to open that out. And the battery is also like proprietary, okay? You can buy spare batteries, but they're usually kind of costly. This camera, this is where the SD card comes out. Okay, that's an SD card. Pretty simple controls. Most of the controls are very similar to what we have seen before. The on-off button's right on the top, and you can change your modes, etc., right here with your thumb. Okay, this is this nice little Nikon point-and-shoot camera. It's a good little camera, and I've taken a lot of pictures with it. It has the flash right here built in, like most of them do, and over here on this end there's a tripod mount so you can put it in to do self-exposures. Now this camera right here, this one's a really nice Nikon camera. One of the things that this camera has is that it's waterproof. Okay, and if you'll notice, the lens does not come out. It's a pretty tough little camera. This is a new series of cameras. Another advantage to this camera is it has GPS. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to help you find your way, but what that means is it's going to put a XY coordinates or longitude and latitude coordinates in your metadata. And the metadata is files that you can open up in Photoshop or other image editing software to see where the image was taken. So it's a nice feature, GPS, and the fact that it's waterproof. It's a tough camera. There isn't a lot of moving parts on this camera. Okay, and this is where you can plug it in over here on this end. Power button is here on the top. Right there, there's on off, and that's how you compose. The controls are very similar. It's not a wheel like on some of the other ones, but it has a little bit different way in which to open up the camera. You have to push this button and rotate that, and as you can see, there is a neoprene gasket that helps make it waterproof. This one does not take AA batteries. The camera battery fits right in there. There's the battery, okay, and the SD card fits right here, okay. You can get SD cards up to 32 gig. This one has a 16. But this one's a nice camera because it's rugged and it will hold up. Now, a lot of people like to photograph with their cell phone cameras. The problem with a cell phone camera is that there's not a lot of controls with it. So you can't change your f-stop and shutter speed, and it only has one aperture. It's very, very limited. Okay, it will take pictures in a pinch, but don't really like to use a cell phone camera. Okay, now we're going to look at this Nikon D2X. This is what you would call a professional digital camera. It has a viewfinder. It's 12 megapixel, and it has a lot more controls. This is a really, really good camera. It's made for professional usage. Okay. It has a lot of different features. Let's turn it on. The on button, a lot of this one is with one hand. You turn it on right here, and it has controls right on the top. Okay. And it has a screen there on the back. You can change a lot of different controls with this camera that you cannot do with your point-and-shoot type cameras. This one takes a little bit different flash card. It fits on the inside, and it is a larger flash card. It's a little bit more professional. The battery is over here on the side. It's a really big battery. And it's also proprietary, okay? Which means it's made by the manufacturer. You can't get batteries at the drugstore for this one because it's a professional camera. Now, one of the other things that's really good about this Nikon is that you can have interchangeable lenses. So, I can go from a real wide-angle lens, like that one right there, or I can change it to a telephoto lens. and it's right. So it's a big lens. This one's what they call an f2.8 sports lens. It's a big lens. There's a hot shoe on the top of this camera so that you can actually put an external flash, which some of the other point and shoot type digital cameras cannot. So you can get a variety of flashes, and you can add different power source to it. There's a lot of advantages to this camera. It is a professional camera. This Nikon camera takes a different type of card or memory. It's called a flash card. It's a lot bigger. Opens the door. It's kind of a one-finger operation right here, and you push it out right there. And it's not that the size is bigger, because you can get 4 gig, 16 gig, 32 gig, and an SD card, but it's just a physically larger, what they call a flash card, that fits in a compact flash disk. Okay, it's not really any better than the other ones.